I never thought a simple weekend visit to my sister's house would turn into one of the most unexpectedly emotional experiences of my life. My name is Caroline, I'm 41 years old, and I live in Seattle. My younger sister, Melissa, lives just a couple of hours away in Portland with her husband and their 12-year-old son, Ethan, my nephew. Melissa and I have always been close, though life, work, and distance have kept us from seeing each other as much as we'd like. But that weekend, Melissa called me and said she wasn't feeling too well and could really use some help around the house. Without a second thought, I packed a bag and drove down. When I got there, Melissa looked pale and tired. She had caught a nasty cold and was bundled up on the couch with tissues everywhere. Ethan greeted me at the door with his usual burst of energy. He's the kind of kid who makes you smile just by being around. Smart, funny, and way too grown up for his age sometimes. "Aunt Caroline," he shouted, wrapping his arms around me. That hug alone made the trip worth it. The weekend quickly filled with chores, cooking meals, running errands, and keeping Ethan entertained. Melissa mostly rested, and I was glad to be useful. On Saturday afternoon, I noticed Ethan sitting at the dining table with a gloomy look on his face. "What's wrong, buddy?" I asked, pulling out a chair to sit next to him. He shrugged and said, "I've got this big soccer game tomorrow, but my legs are really sore. Mom usually helps me stretch, but she's too sick." I looked at his little frown and immediately wanted to help. "Well, you've got me," I said cheerfully. "Why don't we do some stretches together?" His face brightened up, and soon enough, we were in the living room, me showing him some simple leg stretches I remembered from my own jogging routine. He giggled every time he lost his balance, and before long, we were both laughing hard. Afterward, Ethan sighed and said, "Coach always tells us to massage our legs after practice, but it's not the same when I do it myself." He looked hesitant, like he wasn't sure if he should ask what he was about to. "Would you maybe help?" For a moment, I blinked. It wasn't something I expected to hear, but then I thought about it. There was nothing strange about it. Athletes get massages all the time for sore muscles. My sister probably helped him with it too, and with Melissa sick, Ethan just wanted a little care. I smiled and said, "Of course, buddy." We sat on the couch, and I gently massaged his calves the way I remembered my own physical therapist doing when I sprained my ankle years ago. Ethan leaned back and let out a little, that helps." I couldn't help but chuckle. "You sound like an old man at a spa," I teased, and he laughed. As I worked on his legs, I noticed how much he trusted me. There was something incredibly touching about it. I wasn't just his aunt. In that moment, I was someone he could lean on. Ethan started talking while I worked, telling me about school, his friends, his favorite video game, and his dream of becoming a professional soccer player one day. His excitement was contagious, and I found myself genuinely swept up in his little world. Halfway through, Ethan grew quiet. "Aunt Caroline," he said softly, "do you think I'll really be good enough?" That question hit me harder than I expected. I paused and looked at him. "Ethan," I said gently, "you are already good enough. Do you know why? Because you try. You give your best, and that's what matters. Even if you don't become a professional player, you're already someone who works hard, and that's what makes you special." His eyes watered just a little, and he nodded. "Thanks." I ruffled his hair and smiled. "Now, let's finish this massage so you can crush that game tomorrow." The next day, Melissa was feeling slightly better but still weak. So I promised her I'd take Ethan to his game. She looked at me with gratitude in her eyes. "Caroline, you're a lifesaver," she said. I shrugged it off, but deep down it meant a lot to me. At the soccer field, Ethan was a ball of nervous energy. I watched from the sidelines, cheering like the loudest fan in the crowd. And let me tell you, all that stretching and massaging must have helped because Ethan played like a superstar. He scored 2 goals and his team won. His face lit up as he ran over to me after the game, sweaty and glowing with happiness. "We did it," he said, throwing his arms around me. In that hug, I realized something. That weekend wasn't just about me helping Melissa or even Ethan's sore legs. It was about connection. It was about being there when family needs you, no matter how small the act might seem. A massage, a pep talk, a ride to the soccer game. Those weren't just tasks, they were moments. And those moments became memories, ones I would treasure forever. When I left their house the next day, Ethan slipped a little drawing into my bag. Later, when I unpacked, I found it. It was a stick figure of me and him on the soccer field with a big trophy. Underneath, in his messy handwriting, he had written, "Best aunt ever." I sat on my bed holding that piece of paper, and tears welled up in my eyes. Sometimes, life surprises you with the most beautiful gifts, hidden in the simplest experiences. That weekend taught me something I'll never forget. Love isn't always shown in grand gestures. Sometimes, it's in the quiet ways we care for each other, like helping with a stretch, massaging tired legs, or cheering from the sidelines. And in those moments, love grows stronger than we realize. And that's the true story of how a simple massage with my nephew turned into one of the most heartfelt experiences of my life.